How's everybody doing? L.A. Kendrick with another tale from the vault of Would You Dare? You guys, and we're here today to go over some things that I had already discussed prior. And I'm going to do it with two different recorders because I've been having a lot of difficulties with said production. But you know how we do. We talk about everything supernatural, extraterrestrial, ultra-dimensional, serial killers, demonic, cryptid, UAPs, UFOs. We talk about the whole nine here, okay? And I'm kind of vindicated in what I was speaking about not too long ago. And the chickens have somewhat come home to roost. What I hate about this kind of thing is that, as I say, it's a lot of gatekeepers. It's almost as if certain people with certain complexions are not supposed to be talking about things along these lines, right? But I'm not understanding that at all. Because everybody has a story to tell. Everybody has different experiences. And people talk to different people all over the planet. But I notice when certain groups come in and try to talk about certain things, you may get one interview. You may get one talking point. I mean, I've had people reach out to me recently and to share some of the information that I have, some of the factual stuff that I have, right? I mean, there's stuff I haven't even shown yet, but factual stuff that I have, and then they don't contact you back. It's like they're wasting their time. I don't know, wasting your time, and I don't know what prompts that. I really don't. If you want to talk and discuss and do a podcast, let's do a podcast. If not, then don't waste my time, because I don't know what would throw you off. But y'all know how we do. The party don't start till you walk in, and now that you're here, let's begin. So I had done a podcast a while back with a lady named Linda Eastburn, and we were talking about what's going on in CERN. Now, this happened back in 2009. My conversation with ex-military personnel, and I'm telling you, man, it was something else. But what I want you to do now is just take a listen to what recently has been popping off in these internet streets as far as portals and CERN, right? So it validates what this guy was talking about, because this is what's happening right now. All right. So if you want a different perspective and you don't want everything to always be convoluted or people, I don't even know how to put it together, how to describe it. But there are other people that know how to tell a story, and they've had their experiences. And again, I travel all over the world, and I've seen things that I can't explain. But you know what? I would never begrudge anybody if they wanted to come and talk to me, like I've gotten some of this information that I have now. So let me not bore you with the information or just these talking points, because I don't want to go on a rant. But it's very frustrating, man, to see these people, these gatekeepers, act a certain way because you may not look like them. It's annoying, and it gets old, man. It's like, oh my God. But let's get to it. This is a scientist. All right. Let's see what she's talking about.
And like it sat at the table.
Her name is Dr. Astrid Stuckleberger, and she's
fair use, YouTube. Fair use, please.
Talking about the work being done at CERN. She's a scientist, researcher, and public health expert who has worked closely with governments and international organizations for over 20 years. She's credentialed, respected, and has access to circles most of us will never enter. But in 2016, at a dinner in Portugal, she found herself seated next to two physicists from CERN. What they told her that night would change everything she thought she knew about reality. Officially, CERN's mission is to study the fundamental structure of the universe, to smash particles together at near light speed and observe what happens. In 2012, they announced the discovery of the so-called God particle, a triumph of modern physics. Nobel Prizes were awarded, the world celebrated. But since then, silence. Billions more spent. The collider runs continuously, and we hear almost nothing about what they're actually doing. There's occasional vague statements about exploring extra dimensions, mentions of portal experiments and dark matter research, cryptic references to opening doors and unknown unknowns. And then there are the symbols. The statue of Shiva, the Hindu god of destruction, prominently displayed at CERN headquarters. The strange rituals and ceremonies. The occult imagery that seems woven into the facility's very identity. What are they really doing down there? What have they found? And why does the largest scientific experiment in human history feel like it's shrouded in mystery? Dr. Stuckleberger wanted answers. And in 2016, she got more than she bargained for. During this time, she was in Portugal attending a dinner hosted by a colleague. She's seated at a table with two physicists, one from CERN in Geneva, one from CERN in Portugal.
And I sat at their table and I was like so happy not to be in a boring table.
She decides to ask them the questions that have been nagging at her. Her first question is simple. How many dimensions are you working with?
Now listen carefully.
At CERN.
I said, so how many dimensions officially are living in the CERN? And they both said 17, very affirmatively.
When she asks for documentation for proof, they tell her they don't have any. They just know it's 17. They work there, but they can't prove it. But then she presses further. She wants to know if anything has ever come through from another dimension, if they have any evidence, any proof.
And they said, well, yes, there is something. And then they started talking about the CERN portal. There's a portal for the LHC. There's a door, a round door, like in the Stargate. So in front of the door, they have a room. They probably have many doors, but they have a room and they sit around the table. And I said, so yeah, what happened? He said, well, an entity came from this portal. And like it sat at the table.
She asked what it looked like. Was it human? Was it alien? What color was it? They can't answer. They don't know. The information is secondhand and they can't describe it. But there's one detail they can confirm. One piece of physical evidence. And
they said this entity the second time took a scarf and left a scarf. I said, what type of scarf? And they don't know. They're not into the detail. They were...
Took one, left one.
Really into the event and not the detail. And this entity left again.
After that dinner, Dr. Stuckleberger began investigating. She started looking into CERN's official statements, their research agenda, their public announcements. And she found something disturbing. In 2024, CERN announced they would be restarting the Large Hadron Collider on April 8th, the date of a major solar eclipse.
Top scientist at the Large Hadron Collider, LHC, says that the Titanic machine may possibly create or discover on 8th of April for the eclipse, previously unimagined scientific phenomenon or unknown unknowns. For instance, an extra dimension.
The former director of research at CERN, Sergio Bertolucci, made a statement.
Who says, out of this door might come something, or we might send something through it. But that even with the power of the LHC at his disposal, he would only be able to hold it open a very tiny lapse of time, 10 to 26 seconds. But during that infinitesimal amount of time, we would be able to peer into this open door, either by getting something out of it or sending something into it.
10 to the minus 26 seconds. An incomprehensibly brief moment. But Bertolucci says that's enough time to peer into the open door, to get something out, or send something in. And then he adds, of course there would be no risk to the stability of our world.
Yeah, right.
No risk,
Clown.
They promise. And now CERN wants to expand. They want to build a 91-kilometer ring, almost 4 times larger than what they have now.
Come on, man.
As Dr. Stuckleberger dug deeper, she discovered something that made her question everything about CERN's true purpose. The name itself. CERN.
The name comes from Cernunnos, the god of the deer. And the deer in Latin is Cernunnos. But it is an animal, beautiful, but it's an animal with horns. And that's their cult.
Cernunnos, the Celtic horned god, the lord of the wild, associated with fertility, life, death, and the underworld. And the location isn't random either. CERN was deliberately built on the site of an ancient temple to Apollo, the Greek god of prophecy, truth, and light, but also plague and destruction. But the most disturbing revelation came from a public ceremony, one that was televised, one that everyone saw but few understood. In 2016, Switzerland inaugurated the Gotthard Base Tunnel.
Didn't the Olympics just do something similar to this?
The world's longest railway tunnel. It's located near CERN, and the opening ceremony was bizarre.
And during the inauguration, our official politicians were standing there looking at the CERN open door with angels and demons going through it. And very crazy, naked, looking naked dance with horns on their heads.
Government officials from across Europe sat and watched as performers dressed as demons and angels emerged from a circular portal.
What's going on?
Horned figures, sexual imagery, death symbolism. This wasn't a normal ceremony. This was a ritual, broadcast to the world. And then Dr. Stuckleberger found the newspaper article.
This newspaper had on the second page the Lord of the Ring, a ring of the Lord of the Ring of Sauron, and it was written, they took the real image of the ring, and the title was, and under it was the CERN, linked to the CERN. And the title was, and I have it in front of me in French, so I'll translate it, Guarantee of Collusion, Magic or Evil? Question mark.
A Swiss newspaper compared CERN's planned 91-kilometer ring to the One Ring from Lord of the Rings, the Ring of Power, the Ring of Evil. And she discovered something else, something that occultists know, but most people don't.
But they have a rule in their secret societies and stuff that they have to tell us the truth. They have to tell us. If we do not say, no, I don't consent to your ring, then the door is open for them to do what they want. There is it's like a pact that they impose on us without...
Almost like a vampire, you can't come in unless they invite you in, unless we invite them in.
Without our consent. Or no consent is consent for them.
It's called predictive programming, or revelation of the method. The idea that dark forces must reveal their plans. If we don't object, our silence is consent. They told us, they showed us, and we said nothing. Dr. Stuckleberger's investigation didn't stop with CERN's portal experiments and occult connections. What she discovered was part of a much larger pattern. She found connections to alien technology operating at the nanoscale, materials and circuits that don't follow known physics, implants removed from people that surgeons can't cut or manipulate using conventional methods. She believes humanity is currently splitting into different timelines, different dimensions, that our planet's frequency is changing. The Schumann resonance is increasing, and not everyone will make the shift.
Somebody said 60% people will disappear like that when the frequency will change.
She suggests the electric grid, the 5G networks, the technology that surrounds us, it's all designed to keep our frequency low, to prevent us from naturally evolving into higher dimensions. So let's review what we've learned. An entity came through a portal at CERN and sat at a table.
Okay.
It took a scarf from our dimension and left. 2 physicists confirmed this happened, though they couldn't describe what the entity looked like. CERN is reportedly working with 17 dimensions, not just the 4 we experience. Yet they can't provide documentation or proof of this. On April 8th, 2024, during a solar eclipse, CERN attempted to open a door to another dimension, to either bring something through or send something back. The facility is built on ancient temple sites, named after a horned god, surrounded by occult symbolism and bizarre rituals performed in front of world leaders, and now they want to expand. To build a ring almost 4 times larger than what they currently have.
Crazy.
Dr. Astrid Stuckleberger isn't the only person asking these questions, but she might be one of the few with the credentials and access to get real answers. She believes we're at a crossroads, that humanity is waking up, that the lies are becoming too obvious to ignore. $13 billion, 27 kilometers underground, 17 dimensions, entities crossing through portals. Are they searching for the God particle? Unlocking the secrets of the universe? Pushing the boundaries of human knowledge? Or are they opening doors that were meant to stay closed?
Exactly.
Playing with forces they don't fully understand?
I believe that.
Inviting things into our reality that don't belong here? Maybe they're not trying to give us access to other dimensions. Maybe they're trying to give other dimensions access to us. The machine is running right now, deep beneath Switzerland and France, smashing particles together at nearly the speed of light. opening doors to the unknown.
An entity came from this portal, and like it sat at the table.
And
Let me pause it there, okay? Seems like I'm running out of battery life. But let me pause it there, right? And let me show you what I had talked about, where I interviewed someone. This is me about 2 years ago, speaking on this thing because me and an individual had this conversation at Dave & Buster's, military guy. All right? So let me get this part out. And we've been talking about this. What are these people doing? These people are insane, man.
Swap stories on what they've seen and what they've been privy to. They don't go too far because, they don't want to be penalized or lose clearances and things along those lines. But I've talked through some stuff. People, and as you say, portals. I mean, I've had ex-military guys talk about how they've gone over to, CERN in Sweden that has the, what is that?
Switzerland. My apologies, Switzerland.
They open black holes, where they force black holes open. And, man, he shared a story that these guys share such vivid stories. I keep thinking, man, if this is legit, we in trouble. Just some of the stuff that they said, they talked about.
Anything you can share? Anything that they said you can talk about?
Yeah, whatever they share, they're sharing what they can talk about. Which one do you want to hear about? The guy with the thing attacked him on the road while he was running?
Fast forward a little bit.
About the guy that we were talking about dimensions and portals and things like what we're talking about. And he said,
make sure I get the year right.
Of the portal, they had to fight him back and push him.
Tell me about that one. Tell me about the things coming out of the portal.
Okay, there was we were at Dave & Buster's back in I think it was 2009, and me and one of the guys were two other military guys and myself. We were talking about we were just playing air hockey, and the food came and we sat down and we started eating and things. We were talking about dimensions and portals and things like what we're talking about, and he said that you guys heard about the portals being open. So he talking about, and he said the stuff in Sweden. And at the time, I had no idea what he was talking about. Then I did a little research because it started flashing all over the news. And I said, okay. And if you go back and look, Linda, you can't find this article anymore. They said they actually opened up some black holes and they only lasted like 50 seconds, right? I can't find the article anymore. And I thought that was a dangerous thing. I was like, oh, this is bad because trust me, a lot of times they say they open up something small, they usually open up something big. Nonetheless, the guy tells me he was stationed in Germany because of course, the U.S. has, posts all over the world. And they got a call because over in Sweden, the CERN, the information, the center that CERN had opened up a portal, and they called it a portal to hell. Those are his words, not mine. He said when as they were flying in, they had a lot of distortion. The plane was having a lot of issues flying through. He said he knew something was wrong then. He said his CO was just, pretty much like, taking it in because apparently he's used to this. But when they got there and they landed and they actually made their way to the base, this is what he says. He said that it smelled like sulfur. He said, and the things that were laying out looked like demons, but they were covered. And I said, okay, all right, this is getting good, right? And he said, as they traversed in further, you could hear, he kept calling them lab coats. And I guess they're doctors or scientists, whatever. He kept saying lab coats. And he said, when they got there, he said, you could see some of the lab coats that had been deleted, transitioned, or whatever you want to call it, dead. And he said that scared them. So they told them to get their weapons ready, and they went at the low ready. And when they got there, you could see the machine had actually opened up a black hole in the portal. Said it was like the space above them was distorted. And he said you could actually see in, and he said it had a real pungent smell of sulfur. And he said he could see things like hands trying to come through and faces. And I was like, oh snap. And I'm like, this is really getting good. So I'm like, okay. He said they took the weapons off safe and they started firing at that spot. And he said no sooner did they start firing at the spot, the fingers went back in, the hands went back in, and they tried to make one more leap out or come out, is what he said. And he said that they actually were able to shut the machine down, portal closed. And I thought, I'm thinking, did it cut the hand off? Did it sever the hand? He didn't say. All he said was when they got debriefed, he said he did not re-up. He said that was the scariest thing he's ever gone through in his life. He said that he still has nightmares about it to this day. He said there are other things that happened that I can't even share with you. He said, but if you saw what I saw, he said, I don't know if you believe me or not believe me. Now, the guy that was with him, our mutual associate, he agreed, he believed. And I again, because my mind is always open to whatever, right? I don't shut my mind off and say, oh, that's impossible. That's crazy. I think, you know what? Yeah, man, there's a good chance something happened. And so I believe something happened. To what degree, I don't know, but something happened because the military is always doing something. The government is always doing something. Again, I mean, I traveled everywhere. And just to verify some of these spots, I just got back from Area 51.
Let's go back to this story for just a minute, because I have a couple of questions for you. Did he describe what those faces that were coming out of the portal look like?
He said he just saw the hands, and they were long, skinny hands and fingers trying to come through, like they were trying to crawl through and come through. And he said the sulfur smell is what got him. And the hands would have got me, but he said the sulfur smell is what got him, and it just freaked them all out. And as they started unloading on it, it backed in. It went back in. And then it came back like the bullets didn't have any effect on it because it's just like shooting in the air.
Why did it take them so long to get the machine shut down? Obviously, if there was long enough period of time for them to call in the military and they're there shooting at them and things are crawling through, but what was the slowdown on shutting down the machine? I obviously don't understand the complexity of this huge thing. And I know the machine you're talking about, but I don't understand the complexity of that. But I wonder why. I mean, obviously it would have taken some time for them to get there.
That's my thing. And I think that's why they called him in, because they couldn't. I'm going to speculate, right? And maybe I'm wrong, and I should. And he wasn't so forthcoming with all of the information. He was just trying to tell us enough to let us know and share and get that off of his chest, because of course you can't talk about it while you're in, because they pretty much say, well, you don't talk about it, you don't disclose information, you don't talk about it to the rest of your peers. I think that the energy that came from the portal on the other side was strong enough to keep it open, so they couldn't shut it down. So they called in for U.S. military help to help quell what had already come through, because if their bodies already land there, and they said that they were covered and they had that strong sulfur smell, and now he said that there were the feet were really scaly looking, and they had he said he saw a tail sticking out of one of the blankets that had covered one of the bodies, and that's how he knew something, that it wasn't human. So that's what scared him, and he's a real religious guy, in the military, he's a real religious guy. So I think that they called them in because they couldn't shut it down, and they needed to make sure that the situation was hush-hush.
They also needed to close the portal. I mean, if this thing was wide open, maybe it took some steps to get the portal shut, not just the machine shut down, but make sure the portal wasn't still open.
Right. So they were the backup. Along with the Swedish military, they again, I'm just trying to connect the dots like you, because I was trying to figure it out. I was thinking, geez, this is intense. And you can again, I tend to believe that what he said he saw, because you can look at the guy, was it Snyder that had the thing happen in Duluth, Mexico, or was it where they said that they had that shootout?
So let me stop it there. As you can see, we were talking about this a while back, and all of a sudden now, in real time, here it is happening right before our eyes, okay? Again, all of these gatekeepers out here and people who don't want to let other people have their say, it's just disturbing to me as well. They're no better than the people that are keeping these other secrets and whatnot. Same thing, same mindset, same whatever you want to call it. And again, I'm thoroughly disappointed, but I'm glad that I have a channel that I can speak about. You guys, if you got something you want to speak about, come here. Maybe you may not feel comfortable with other or whatever, but here at least you can talk to people that may not look like the average, right? But you can talk to people that look like you, I guess, obviously. So again, I'm frustrated. I'm trying not to say certain things, but I'm very frustrated because these gatekeepers are something else. And as you guys can see, these two stories tie in. That story and then my original story about what was going on. So nobody can tell me that there's not a possibility that what I talked to that guy about actually happened. I'm going to close this thing out because I don't want the batteries to run down. Would you dare want to be caught out there? Right? In Switzerland. Demons coming through portals. Creatures coming through portals. You saw the rituals. Having this stuff happen all the time. Look at the Epstein stuff. It's happening all over the place, man. What's going on? They let something come in. When they do these rituals, how do you know that whatever supernatural forces or evil forces, right? How do we know that they're not trying to make sure that they talk to the right people to not necessarily have a ritual opening, but have a constant door open with the CERN collider that keeps a constant portal open? Because once you punch a hole, maybe you can't close it. Maybe those extra dimensional creatures are using that to come through in full force. Think about that, man. And maybe the portal can be open and manipulated all over the planet, messing with forces we don't understand. Not we, because I wouldn't dare do it, because some things are not meant to be tampered with. Let me close it out, you guys. Make sure you check the dark recesses of your home, the dark closets. Make sure you check out under your car, around your car, inside your car, especially if you work in the wee hours of the morning or late at night, because you never know what's coming through a portal trying to make you a story. Make sure you get my new copy of my book, Demon Streamer. Also, the new cartoon we just did, The Trials of Shabazz, Part 4. It's the ending of it. You guys, make sure you're there, okay? This has been L.A. Kendrick. LaValda, would you dare? Please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, you guys be safe. And by all means, feel none the rest.